What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review, and we are doing another Spicy Appies VOD review from the Soju Invitational. I said this guy was popping off, was in the motion of popping off, and he ended up winning the entire tournament, beating out a really strong Setsuko. It was a really close score at the end, but he managed to actually win the entire thing. So congrats to Appies. He gets a good bit of cash and an Intel PC, I think, which, I mean, pog to him. But I wanted to see what he did to pop off in this tourney. This also is potentially a preview of what he's going to do in the next tourney coming up, which is going to be the regionals tournament in North America, which is so hype here. So yeah, one thing that I thought was interesting about this game immediately is he holds on to this Vex. He played around this Vex in the last game. Last round, he could have sold that Vex to pick up like Thomas Kench, and it was Thomas Kench plus a Nami, but he decided to not go for that, which puts him in a slightly weird spot here where he didn't actually get to hold on to as many units as possible here. Augment-wise, Keepers basically commits you to playing around Disco, and there's no reason to do that. Pumping up is just a pretty solid AD augment, and we get to pick up this Vi headliner here with the Olaf now, and so now we're actually in a pretty good spot. We could level play a strong board here, and be pretty happy about it. The only downside is, like I was talking about, we would have been able to get Bruiser in here for the Olaf, though I'm not sure actually what our last unit would have ended up being here. Appies does something a little scary here, actually, which ends up punishing him pretty hard, is that he puts the Vi here on the edge on the left next to this Cassante, but what happens with this positioning is that the Cassante dies immediately, and then the Vi gets targeted, and so then the Vi dies, and we actually only get to kill one unit here, which is a little bit rough. It definitely, with slightly different positioning, we could have killed a lot more. It would have been pretty hard to actually like win the fight, but you know, still would have definitely been a bit closer. We could have killed some more units, and I believe in this fight he ends up, maybe it's next fight, where he puts his Vi sort of in between his frontline units. Yeah, like this. So now it is, and we have the Olaf on the edge, which means, you know, like this Olaf is now going to take a lot more damage from this Urgot and from this Vi. So now our Vi actually gets to survive this fight, do maximum damage, and we end up actually winning this fight, which, like, once again, if we had done the same positioning as the last fight, it's possible that we would have actually lost that fight. And if it sounds like I've watched this VOD before, I actually have. Normally, I don't watch through these VODs, but I was at 4:2 recording this VOD, and then my power flickered, and apparently that corrupted the OBS recording file, so I have to re-record the entire VOD, but it's cool. Now I have the insight of having watched the game back, at least up until 4:2, so after that will be in uncharted territory. But yeah, I mean, Vi is a kind of broken headliner, honestly, after the buffs to her. Appies does this thing here that we've seen him do a lot, actually, whereas he really prioritizes holding units early and not that much econ, so he holds the Cassante too, he holds the Kale pair here, and then just pre-levels, which I think makes, you know, a good amount of sense. He's going to pick up the red buff here, fantastic item to slam in this position. It just looks like an AD flex angle, right? From the moment that you slam Infinity Edge, you're looking to play AD flex, and when we scout the lobby, we don't actually see that many people angling AD flex. So we could play the Cassante too here, but we also have the option of just playing Gragas here for Bruiser, which I'm pretty sure is just stronger, and Appies does end up making that swap out right now. It means that we have to sell the Cassante, so we don't really get anything for having that Cassante 2-starred. It's not like we're playing Heartsteel or anything, but, you know, it's all good. Also, this positioning is pretty sick, where the Gnar ends up taking aggro from the Corki early so that we get to spread out. This is actually, like, fantastic positioning that I think does this. Yeah, this wins us the fight, right? I believe he wins this fight, this was beautiful positioning by Appies, I would say. Like, with slightly worse positioning, you can absolutely lose that fight, lose your streak, and then you're going to be really broke this game, because we've already made Olaf 2, we're now making Kale 2. The one scary thing about this early game is we're kind of broke, right? Because our board's pretty expensive. And the other thing that makes us even more broke is we end up picking up this Jax headliner here, which is a fantastic headliner. Also, nice little goof there. He tries to put it on top of the Jax there, but the Olaf, because he walked a little bit to the left, his hitbox moved over the Jax's, and it ends up going on the Olaf, which is pretty, I mean, sad for Appies. The upside is we have this remover, so we can just move the red buff over, and it's not the end of the world, but we do end up paying for this with a remover, which is pretty sad, but, you know, it's okay. Not a colossal issue or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, look at our board now. Olaf 2, Gnar 2, Kale 2, Jax 2. The only downside is we can't really play Kale Reroll from this spot. And this is just 8 gold, right? We can't really play around either of these units, so it makes a lot of sense to sell them. But yeah, it's like, it's a little bit weird. Like, we can't actually play this comp. It'd be lovely to just, like, play a Kale Reroll game from this spot. We just don't have the items for it. We have Rod open here, but you'd have to get to Gwynsu and then another Kale item. Red buff's okay, but then this IE is super awkward. It makes a lot more sense to just sort of play, like, AD flex type gameplay here. And he's just going to slam the glove onto the Jax here, just because it's going to make him that little bit stronger, especially with this Infinity Edge already. It's pretty valuable here. But yeah, I mean, we're fighting a very, very strong board here, but just all these upgrades, we end up winning it. Like, our board is kind of nuts. The only downside is it's really expensive, so we have to keep streak, because if you lose streak with this expensive of a board, you will be in a very bad spot. I thought Salvage Bin would be a pretty good option in this position, but he ends up rolling and hitting Healing Orbs. It's pretty interesting because, like, pretty much everyone would say that Vampirism is a stronger augment than Healing Orbs, but I do really like Healing Orbs in positions like these where you have a strong melee carry who is, like, basically your entire team. Healing Orbs does so much work in spots like these. I also really, really like this positioning. I think it's against either a Kale player or a Senna player, where he's spreading out his front line a bit and just making it so that his front line will not super, super clump up during any fight, which is going to make it a lot easier to beat those, like, Senna type boards. But I mean, just look at that healing R's value this fight with that Jax. He actually got down to like 1 HP and then just healed to full. Like, it's actually so nuts. The other thing is that Jax, is like jumping into the middle of the entire team, ulting. He has a good chance of actually killing a lot of units with his ultimate. So a great unit to hold on to healing orbs. End up picking up Zac here, who's a fantastic unit to play around if we are going to play AD Flex, because he fits on the board. Yeah, I mean, easy as that. And we're just going to continue to try to position for all of our enemies here, try to keep our streak as long as possible. This is actually pretty good positioning as well. We kind of ended up baiting the Gnar away from our team. Our Jax ends up dying here, which is really scary, but our Gnar ends up carrying the rest of the fight. But yeah, I mean, if you look at Appy's econ here, 30 gold, level 6 here, he's not wealthy by any means. He's not completely broke, but he's pretty close to completely broke in this position because his board is so upgraded. So he really, really needs to maintain streak here. There is a tier on Carousel which can be just used for Hodge here, which I think has to be the pickup here, because once again, we need to maintain streak. We want to slam something. Hodge is a fantastic slam. It'll be good on like Zed later. If we play AD Flex, you can even Hodge your Ezreal, as we've seen in so many games. It was Replay, right, who really liked like the Hodge Ezreal. So it could certainly be Hodge Ezreal as well. But yeah, just still trying to make sure our Jaxter doesn't take aggro immediately, doesn't die too quickly, allow him to get some ults off and, start stacking up, healing up. And I mean, this fight is just a gimme, right? We're fighting a very weak level 6 board from Ashmu, who's just like econed up, going like fast 8, I guess, with a lot of econ with Vampirism. So yeah, 94 HP win streaking here, but still look at the economy. It's really pretty not great. We need to still win this last fight. This fight represents 7 gold for winning, because it's 1 gold for winning, 3 gold for continuing our streak, and then 3 gold for continuing our streak on Wolves. So if we lose this fight, we're out 7 whole gold. So we need to win this fight. You see he like almost thinks about leveling for the Zac there, which I don't even think would be that crazy of a play there. It doesn't really add any synergies except for extra EDM, but like if he needed to in any of these fights, I think it would have been absolutely appropriate to level here, but he doesn't end up needing to level here, wins without it, and it's really, really good. It's a little bit sad, actually, that we get this shop. We have a Blitzcrank, we have a Nami, and we have a Twisted Fate, but we just can't, we can't play the comp from this spot. The only way you could ever play this Twisted Fate comp from this spot is if you found like a Zed, and then you could play like Zed TF, but it's just a little bit of a bridge too far for Appies. He doesn't want to go for that, and yeah, we are now actually kind of rich. Now that we have our streak, now that we got some gold off Krugs, we are actually pretty wealthy, and if we can continue our streak for one more round, we're actually going to be like rich. And it's nice because this is not a galaxy with it's not like an econ galaxy. It's not like a lot of people are really, really rich, so we can actually be one of the few people 4-2ing it here with like a lot of gold. This fight gets pretty close here, but look at the healing orbs value onto this Jax here, just keeps him alive the entire fight. Now we can 4-2 it with a ton of gold and be very, very happy about our position here. Little Buddies is just pretty bad in AD Flex. We don't really want that. We roll into You Have My Sword, though, which is just generally a really strong augment and means that we can make Edge of Night if we want to. We pick up a Karthus here and an Akali immediately, so now we're sort of thinking of like a Karthus Akali type board, which the one thing, like I said, I only saw up to 4-2 and then my power went out. But the one thing I want to call out immediately from this Appies game is just the beautiful ability to just like pivot on a pin needle. Is that something people say, on a pin, on a razor's edge, something like that, and just say, you know what, I'm not actually going to play around this like traditional AD Flex, like this Ezreal Zed type board. I'm gonna play more like a Karthus Akali type board, but it's not even like your standard Karthus Akali board. Like, look at this, we're getting in 4 Executioner, and then we have 2 Bruiser as our front line here. We also have Pentakill in with the Karthus, the Gnar, and the Kale here, which fits Mosher in with the set. Like, what a cool little like board that we've put together. We have true damage in with the Kiana. And he also opted to red buff the kill, which I think is a really, really smart idea. I think a lot of people would probably have red buffed Karthus here because he's going to be our main carry later, probably. But the kill's actually just going to do so much more in these early fights. Karthus 1 is just so weak. And Kale synergizes a lot better with this Akali because this is true damage Akali, right? It's not KD Akali, it's true damage Akali, which means she's going to be going front to back in all of these fights. So you really want another unit that's synergized with her that also does the front to back. This is Even Shroud, right? Yeah, this is Even Shroud onto Akali, so I think we can absolutely be happy with that. And yeah, just be in an amazing spot item-wise and just look to go 9 in this position, 94 HP. We already have a decent amount of upgrades. We could even opt to make 40 here if we want to sell our Echo Pair. The only downside is we lose Echo Pair and we lose this extra Akali, but I would be quite tempted to make 40 here. We'll see what Appies ends up doing, but I mean, what a cool 4-2, just putting together units that make sense on your board, slamming items that make sense, good augments. I mean, this is TFT at its finest. Yeah, he isn't actually interested in making 40 here. He'd rather hold on to the Echo Pair plus this extra Akali, which I'm not really sure what the idea behind this extra Akali is. Maybe the idea is that we'll sell this Akali later, but that would be kind of surprising to me. I mean, I think she's going to be pretty good until we go to like level 10. And also, wow, really cool call out here as well. We're gonna, okay, yeah, I was surprised by that. I feel like for Executioner is a really big upgrade here, and Appies agrees. Obviously, Crowd Diver plus EDM is not bad by any means, but it's not like we even have Jazz and we don't really get anything for getting more synergies in. Finally lose our streak to Toronto, Tokyo. I don't know, I call him Toronto. Tokyo, absolute beast of the game, has been to Worlds, so, you know, no slouches in any of these lobbies, by the way. This is an invitational with a ton of really good players in it. But yeah, he's really like picking up all of these true damage units, thinking about playing into more of like a vertical true damage type setup, which is just a really, really cool idea from this position here. Gonna have to sell something there to make 50, and he does end up doing that. Picks up Echo too. And yeah, he's thinking about, I guess, I mean, yeah, you could get the Echo in at this point. You lose some synergies. Item-wise here, I mean, what's weird for me is I don't even know what carry we're playing for with this red buff. He takes the tier here for Gwynsu. Okay, so he's just going to make the Gwynsu here onto the Kale here. It's the best possible Kale item in this position. It's not really very good on... I mean, I guess it'll be good on Lucian later is the idea. But, I mean, Appy's just playing for the here and now, makes the Gwynsu. Yeah, I think the idea is Kale now, Lucian later, I would have to imagine. But we'll see. Karthus too. Not a bad pickup by any means. And now it just, oh, the insta, like how pretty is that? Just the insta pivot here, picks up the Karthus, pivots this board into this board, still gets Pentakill in, but now he gets 4 true damage in, he gets Sentinel in, can play around the Karthus. Like, look at, it's just so pretty. Like, this is a very, very well played game. Like, I don't know what to say. Like what a cool, just like immediate pivot. Like Appies is locked in. He knew immediately what his board was going to be there. It took him no time at all. And now we can just sack 2 more rounds, go 9 at 5-5, I would have to imagine. And then really, I would imagine start just looking for upgrades on this board, right? We don't have to cut. We don't have to like full pivot this board. We can just play on this board for a little while longer, get in. I guess, I mean, the Zed is not bad, right? It's just Crowd Diver. There's also, like, I don't know, I guess you get in Poppy, it's Emo Mosher, though neither of those synergies are as relevant as Crowd Diver, so I have to imagine we're going to get the Zed in, but we'll see. A bit of a scary fight against this 7-country player. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. That is a very, very strong board, but we are still pretty close to spiking, so it's okay at the end of the day. What do you actually take here? Like a Guard Breaker, I guess, would be what makes the most sense. It looks like he went for Gwynsu there for the double Gwynsu. Is that what he picked up? Yeah, he picked up double Gwynsu here for Karthus, and then eventually maybe for someone else later. Wow, and he's going to greed this round. He's saying, you know what? Leveling for the Zed really doesn't do that much. I want as much gold to roll on 9 as possible here. I'm just going to sack 2. I'm 70 HP. There's no reason for me to level here outside of just, you know, wanting to spike my board, but I'm going to lose 3 gold of econ if I level here. So I might as well just keep this 50 gold, sit on it. This is something that I think top players do so much. Like, recognize when you can actually greed this gold late game versus not greed this gold. And it's so close, right? Because if you do this in the wrong spots, you take a bad loss and your game is just doomed. You do this in the right spots, and I mean, what Abby's doing here, he gets so much more gold to roll with it. He won that last fight, so he didn't even have to level. He just made 3 gold for free by winning that last fight and not leveling. So yeah, really smart stuff from Appies here. We're gonna fight this. That's not hologram, by the way. That's 6 real Ezreals. We gotta watch out for Ezreal 3 from whoever this is. That is a bit scary, but my god, this true damage Akali just does so much work. The Karthus ends up cleaning up in the end, and it's already top 3, and we still haven't like actually rolled very much at all. We've rolled a couple of times this game, but I mean, just beautiful play so far from Appies. We find the Z2 to play. Now we have 40 gold. I can't imagine we're going to go fast 10 from this spot because there's so many 5-cost upgrades that we could find, but I mean, maybe if he's a madman, he goes fast 10 here. I have to imagine we take some rolls here. We potentially get into Jazz. Yeah, he sees the Lucian. He sees that we can get into Jazz. And now we're almost pivoting back into like an 80 flex board with the Senna, which is a pretty standard addition to these type boards because it fits in true damage for the Kiana. Yep, like I was talking about, we're going to move these items over to Lucian. And yeah, just the double Guinsoo Lucian and then Renan's onto Zed. I mean, clean pivot. We still definitely have more gold to roll, and we are sadly fighting the strongest guy, but we got a lot of HP to work with, so definitely not too upset about that at the end of the day. Pick a Yo Rick, but nothing much to do with that right now. I'm just going to roll down here and try to pick up some 5-cost upgrades here. Kiana 2 would be huge. The Zac 2 is very, very nice. The Bard 2 is, I mean, pretty mediocre, but I mean, hey, it's something. Now he's going to move his units up a little bit so that the Zed doesn't get trapped like he did last fight, which was a little bit annoying. And we are fighting this AD Flex player here, so we will see how this fight goes. It's really, really close. Akali getting big casts off. Oh, she like wasted her cast there on a unit that was already dead. That's so rough. Oof, but that's Kiana too. That is a big upgrade onto our board now. So now we can be very, very happy. He's going to use the duplicator just to make gold because he doesn't need any 2-star 3 cost. And we ended up on this board. We like pivoted back into 80 flex, which is so smart. This is one of the most capped boards in the game. So it makes a ton of sense. We do get our Akali swapped over to the left side just in time, which is really, really nice here. Means our Akali's not going to get one shot by this the Samira early, which means we're going to win this fight versus Clone, which is great. Now Kerm's down to 20 HP. Item-wise, we could find something for Kiana. We could find something. I really like this Edge of Night. I don't know if it goes on Kiana or Zed, though, is the idea. Because Zed already has a real item, but Kiana is a Kiana, too. I'm not actually sure. I'm curious to see what Appies thinks is better here. Zig's a fantastic in, but I don't really see how you get it in here. Yeah, I think he's, like, trying to figure out as well, and he decides to just put it onto Kiana here. Gets it in. Ooh, that's scary. He thinks about getting it over the Alawi there for a second, and then he's like, there's no way. Like, I need this front line. Oh, we are going to be on the wrong side versus Samira here. The upside is that our Akali got through a lot of this board with the Edge of Night and the extra damage from now our, like, upgraded carries. We actually do get through that front line. Oh, my God. So maybe it actually was the correct side there. But, yeah, I don't really see how you fit the Ziggs. I mean, you could think about... But, I mean, there's not enough time to go 10 in this game, right? It's like the game is about to be over. So I don't really see how you can go 10 in this position. But, I mean, good enough. I mean, he's easily in the top 3, probably guaranteed in the top 2 here. Has his Akali on the left side, or Akali on the right side, Zed on the left side here, which seems pretty good. He farmed an item here. You should pick that up because that could be a finished item onto Kiana. That's Hodge for Kiana. That is huge here. We are going to lose this fight, drop to 30 HP. But still, Hodge for Kiana is a huge upgrade now. We can go for a third Kiana item off of this Elder Dragon, and yeah, I mean, we really want to be able to go 10 here, but we're still 30 gold. There's no way we can even I mean, we're going into stage 7, right? Yeah, we just sell this here. You just have to roll down for Lucian 2, Alawi 2, and hope you pick that stuff up. There's a random Echo 2 on bench. I don't think we're getting that in, but yeah, we just have to roll for our upgrades in this position. Are we going to see anything? Okay, we at least see Alawi 2. Thank you, Mort. Thank you a little bit. Kiana item here. They're actually... Ooh, that's pretty sick. Just the Bramble Vest Kiana. I was looking at like maybe JG Kiana, but actually the tankiness matters so much more. She's already doing so much damage that, yeah, I think the Bramble is a really, really astute slam here from Appies. That's very creative, very smart here. Kurum's going to go down, and now it's just us and Toronto Tokyo. We're just rolling here to try to pick up Lucian 2. That's all we can pick up in this position. And he's still only 6 Ezreals, it looks like. So it looks like no Ezreal 3 for him, which is very fortunate for us. I think we can beat this board because he's stuck. Yeah, he's stuck on Lucian 1. I don't know if he has like Alawi. He does have Alawi 2, right? So it might be close. Well, we will see. Kiana's getting good ults off and is still staying alive. The healing orb's so big. Farm another item here, and it is going to be a dub for the spicy Appies here. I mean, what can you say? What a beautiful game from Appies. I don't know. There was just so much stuff beautifully done this game. So a completely, well-deserved tournament win from Appies. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my Twitch. All my other links down below. Oh, we picked our people for Sub Wars. If you've been chosen, you should have been pinged in Discord. I will be live streaming Sub Wars with Kai tomorrow, Sunday, at 12 p.m. Eastern time is the time that it starts. So, if you want to just watch Sub Wars, if you're not in it, tune in. Should be really, really fun. I'll see you guys there. Bye.